Listen to this.
When combat starts, we all roll initiative. I'm going to say that again. And everyone knows what I'm talking about when I say this. When combat starts, we all roll initiative.
Welcome to Rogan Recap Show, where we squeeze a 2-hour conversation into about 15 minutes so you catch the big ideas, the wild moments, and the takeaways in one quick hit. This week, Joe sits down with Andrew Wilson, a former robotics mechanic turned political debater and host of The Crucible. Andrew brings a no-holds-barred approach to dissecting leftist ideologies, media narratives, and the very foundations of modern society. He's here to challenge your assumptions whether you like it or not. From the hidden agendas behind organic protests to the surprising truth about mental health and political affiliation, this episode dives deep into the fault lines of modern culture. If you're tired of hearing the same old arguments and want a fresh, provocative take on what's really going on, you'll want to stick around. Let's jump into the nuts and bolts of this conversation, starting with Andrew's incisive breakdown of what he calls the color revolution playbook. He argues that many seemingly organic protests are, in fact, highly coordinated efforts designed to sow chaos and achieve political ends. He points to the Don Lemon incident in Minneapolis, where Lemon's actions seemed to deliberately provoke law enforcement, and the tragic Prey shooting, which became a flashpoint.
The mathematical formula works like this. The longer it is that protesters are engaging with federal officers whose job is not to do basic street cleanup of thugs, that's the local PD's job, the chances that there's an incident, which is going to be a bad incident, is going to occur. So basically, the longer you're there, the more attrition there is, the more engagements you have with these federal officers over time. Eventually,
Yes.
there's going to be something which is out of pocket that happens or something which is escalatory that happens, and they're banking on that. And
Yes.
that's why ICE is out in front of these, or not ICE, the Antifa people are still out in front of the ICE buildings in front of many states night after night after night. And it's designed specifically to make sure, it's just a math formula, right? The longer we're here and the less the local PD involves itself, the more chance of incident between federal officers and us.
You're knocking steel against flint.
Yep.
Yeah. You're
Waiting for the fire.
You're waiting for sparks. And in this particular instance, this guy clearly had been very involved. I don't know if he was a part of the signal chats, but when you go to what's supposed to be a peaceful protest and you're fully armed like that with 2 magazines, it's kind of crazy, right? Like, why do you need so many bullets?
Now the libs are all pro-Second Amendment, too.
That is wild. That's absolutely wild, which I'm for.
He had every right. He didn't last month, but
Right.
Okay.
I like it. I like
Yeah,
where it's
sure,
going. I
sure.
like that because that's kind of a trap. Did you see what MSNBC did to his image?
Yeah. Where they gussied
Basically
it up.
did the opposite of what CNN did to me. You know, CNN during the COVID times turned me green, and they made me ugly and look like I was dying, and they made him handsome.
Yeah.
So people would be more sympathetic to him
course.
getting shot, which is kind of wild. Like, are ugly people less valuable to MSNBC?
Less
Like,
marketable.
That is crazy to me. Like, look at the difference.
Yeah.
Look at the difference. They shortened up his face. They gave him a little bit of a tan. They widened his face a little bit, it seems like. They just made him a little handsomer.
Yeah.
A little hotter.
They gave him a bit of that Chad jaw, didn't they?
They shrunk his nose a little too, didn't they?
Andrew explains this as a mathematical formula. The longer protesters engage federal officers, especially when local police stand down, the higher the chance of a critical incident that can then be weaponized to shift narratives. He argues this was evident in the rapid change of focus from alleged election fraud to the Gestapo narrative. Next, Andrew dives into the stark contrast between what he perceives as leftist harm principles and the robust framework of Christian ethics. He suggests that the former, prioritizing the avoidance of harm above all else, can lead to dystopian outcomes, like the UK's crackdown on social media posts or the alarming bar talk legislation. In contrast, he champions Christian ethics for their emphasis on forgiveness, community, and personal responsibility, which he believes foster healthier societies.
That's the most horrible thing when you watch these pile-ons online over like the most innocuous
And so
discretions.
What's funny with leftists is their pathway is just everything's permitted.
Yeah.
And the pathway from the Christian is no, not everything is permitted. but almost everything can be forgiven.
Right.
And that I would see as the big distinction. There's a story that I heard because I'm Eastern Orthodox. That's what I follow, and I heard it was a great story my priest told me. And so basically, how this went is there was monks. They lived in a commune, and one monk liked to get drunk. That was his big vice, right? And he drank a lot of beer, and he did this clear up until the day that he died. And when he died, everyone was crying. And a monk said, well, why is everyone crying? He held that vice clear up till the day he died. And the head of the abbot who was there, he said, yeah.
This fundamental difference, he argues, explains much of the current cultural and political divide, where one side seeks to eliminate all perceived stigma and harm, while the other prioritizes a path to atonement and personal growth within a structured moral framework. Finally, Andrew takes aim at what he sees as pervasive societal inefficiencies and manufactured narratives. From the reintroduction of wolves decimating elk populations to the misallocation of charity funds and Social Security, he systematically dismantles commonly held beliefs. He critiques the noble savage myth, the two spirits concept, and the idea that all colonization is inherently evil, arguing that these narratives serve specific political agendas rather than historical truth.
Why do I care if that's what I colonized? If that's what my ancestors colonized, why should I give a shit about that?
Well, there's an amazing book about Texas called Empire of the Summer Moon. It's all about the Comanche. This entire land used to be, before Mexico owned it. By the way, one of the funny things, this lady said to me, this all used to be Mexico. I'm like, right. But do you know for how long? 15 years. Like, I've been here for 6. Like, you got to let that go. That's not that long. 15 years. And by the way, Mexico was only one.
And we had an Alamo over it, okay?
Yeah. And by the way, Mexico was only one when it owned Texas. Mexico started
with
in
its new
1820.
constitution?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because then also you have the language and the religion of your oppressors that you're trying to say is this noble and incredible culture that you're bringing over to America.
And you're all Catholic?
And yeah, you're all Catholic. You all speak Spanish. Yeah. They used to have, well, first of all, the people, the Native American people and the original people and the Aztecs, the Mayas, the Mexicans, it's essentially the same kind of people. A lot of them they look the same. It's like, if you look at Sitting Bull,
my wife
he looks
calls
like he
him,
could be working at a taqueria.
Shifting gears, one of the most striking aha moments in this episode comes from Andrew's deep dive into mental health and its surprising correlation with political affiliation. He presents statistics suggesting a significant disparity in reported mental health diagnoses between liberal women and conservative men. But it's not just about the numbers. Andrew posits that some online communities actively pander to the mentally ill, even weaponizing them for political ends, especially in radicalization.
At left-wing communities and left-wing groups, especially online communities and online groups, really pander to the mentally ill in a big way. Really pander to them. And I think that it's a form of weaponization. They want to attract the extremely mentally ill into these communities, and it helps with actually what is radicalization. And they play on the fact that they're mentally ill in order to do this.
Well, this is Antifa, right? Like this is why
it's not just Antifa. It goes beyond that.
Sure.
Like, if you go to some of these TikTokers communities, you go to some of the online political pundits communities who are far left. Okay, these people who are in there are Fruit Loops, man.
Yeah.
They are lunatics, and they're pandered to. They're pandered to. Oh, okay, you can't say this to them. That's ableist. You can't tell them you're a weirdo because that's mean. You can't. And not only are they pandered to, but I think that that's the source of the weapon. If it's the case that these people don't care about death, they don't care.
He provocatively suggests that a pathway to forgiveness found in traditional ethics might be a key factor in maintaining mental well-being, contrasting it with the unforgiving purity tests often seen in far-left circles. Another compelling aha moment arrives during the discussion of the Prey shooting. While mainstream narratives often framed it as an unjustified execution, Andrew, a former CPL instructor, offers a nuanced technical explanation centered around the notorious SIG P320 pistol. He details the gun's documented history of accidental discharges, particularly pre-2017 models, and how such a malfunction could have created the chaotic scenario that led to the shooting.
SIG P320 is known for having accidental discharges. It has a reputation for it. It has a very specific type of striker. It doesn't have a safety the way some other guns do, and you can have negligent discharges with SIGs.
Now, is the P320, is that a hammered model?
Yes.
Okay, so it's not a striker fire.
No, wait a minute. No, it is a striker fire. It's let's pull it up because I know that 365 is built very differently. The 320 breaks cleaner,
Yeah.
but
I thought the 320 had a
drops-
hammer, was double action and single action, and then
you might be right.
I didn't think it was a striker fire. Most of the P models are not striker fires that I'm aware of. I could be wrong.
Well, the P365 is definitely different than the 320.
Yeah.
They have a different striking mechanisms. They're known for accidental discharges.
Okay. I can't tell if that's a hammer underneath the slide.
Well, let's just what is this? What is the trigger mechanism of a SIG P320? Put that in there. And what is it that makes it prone to accidental discharges? And if you look up SIG P320 online in any search engine, accidental discharge comes up very quickly.
This technical insight reframes a highly emotional event, suggesting that a tragic accident, rather than malicious intent, might have been at play, adding a critical layer of understanding to the incident. Time for the Rogan Scorecard, where we give this episode a playful meta-review. First up, the curse-o-meter. With Andrew's passionate delivery and Joe's frequent interjections, this one was definitely a full Gordon Ramsay. Expect plenty of bleeps and colorful language. Next, the rabbit hole rating. From Bigfoot hunts and time-traveling nymphs to ancient Aztec rituals and Papua New Guinea's anal fathers, this episode was a 9 out of 10, wormhole to weirdness. Prepare for some truly bizarre tangents. And finally, the guest coherence score. Andrew Wilson consistently articulated his worldview, connecting disparate topics back to his core arguments about Christian ethics and political strategy. 8 out of 10 for framework fidelity. He might be controversial, but he's rarely unclear. If this recap helped you cut through the noise and get to the core of Andrew Wilson's provocative arguments without burning 2 hours of your day, then we've done our job. You just got the signal without the noise in about 15 minutes. If you enjoyed this breakdown, hit that like button to help other time-poor Rogan fans find it. Also, be sure to subscribe for more 15-minute breakdowns of every JRE episode, from stand-up legends to heavyweight scientists to full-tilt conspiracy theorists. We break it all down for you. Let us know in the comments, what did you think of Andrew Wilson's take on rolling initiative, or the SIG P320? And remember, you can find a link to the full JRE episode in the description below. If Andrew Wilson's insights resonated with you, there's plenty more to explore. You can find his daily show, The Crucible, on YouTube, where he continues to tackle current events and cultural debates with his signature directness. He also encourages checking out his wife's book, Alt Feminism, which he mentions offers a unique perspective on modern feminism. And for those looking to sharpen their own argumentative skills, Andrew runs Debate University, a resource designed to teach effective debating techniques. You can find links to all of these in the description. This episode with Andrew Wilson was a masterclass in connecting seemingly disparate issues, from animal reintroduction to mental health, under overarching frameworks of political strategy and moral philosophy. It challenges listeners to look beyond surface-level narratives and consider the deeper motivations and mathematical formulas at play in our society. It leaves us wondering, are we truly in an era where all political actions are just bids for power, devoid of genuine moral grounding? And can a return to foundational ethics truly be the antidote to the chaos? Beyond these weekly recaps, don't forget we also produce Rogan Deep Dives. These are roughly 30-minute topic anthologies that synthesize high-impact clips from various JRE episodes, creating a structured, entertaining narrative. They offer a comprehensive overview of Joe Rogan's stance on recurring themes like aliens, DMT, or ancient civilizations, giving existing fans an even deeper dive. So, hit subscribe for more of this, whether it's a quick recap or a full-blown deep dive. All links mentioned, including the full episode, Andrew's channels, and our community poll, are in the description. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.